Are you always self-critical, anxious, a perfectionist, or work too hard? Then you, my friend, have got imposter syndrome. Hey guys, welcome back to Divulge Talk Show. My name is Mabandi and this is Thursday Thoughts. For those of you who are joining me for the first time, this is a platform where we as young people have meaningful conversations that equip and elevate us. We are not sidelined by which conversations we can have. I'm more open to every topic that makes sense. So today, I'm sure you saw by the title that I am going to be talking about imposter syndrome. Right, so before I delve into what imposter syndrome is all about, I just want to mention that the show for this year is mainly about Thursday Thoughts. That's the videos that I have with you guys, the sit down videos. I will be having a few live conversations with guests, not necessarily bringing guests over to the show, just due to personal circumstances. So I know that I got a few questions as to when am I dropping a video, you know, with people having conversations and everything. So I just thought I should just put that disclaimer that it is more of Thursday Thoughts, and I will definitely have a few live videos with guests. So today we're going to be talking about imposter syndrome, right? This is a topic that I found out recently and I felt like I need to share it with you guys because I realized that we suffer from it. It doesn't matter if you're a young person or an older person or a mature adult. Imposter syndrome is actually something that we suffer from, and probably some of the people are like recovering imposter syndromists, if that's a word, and some people are literally going through this phase whereby you know you have imposter syndrome. So this is definitely something that I'm going to be talking about. As usual, I always have my notes, and we are going to just delve into the topic. So as human beings, I'm pretty sure you've noticed that it's very easy to self-manipulate us or to be manipulated by other people, right? In other words, we can make ourselves believe certain things, and we can also at times allow other people to have like power over us, and then we start believing what they say about us, right? So as I said, I'm going to be talking about imposter syndrome, what it is all about, and how one can work towards becoming better, because this is something that develops through our childhood, teenagehood, because of our socialization, our environment, our background, and then we tend to develop this syndrome, right? So this topic was inspired by the beautiful Nissy Tee. She was talking about, I follow her on Instagram and YouTube, and she always has these meaningful conversations. So she spoke about imposter syndrome, and I was like, this is actually new. What is this all about? And when she started speaking about what imposter syndrome is about, I was like, whoa, hold on. This is something that I've gone through and perhaps still going through. I'd like to believe I'm probably recovering from it, because I feel like at times we go through things or we feel certain ways or certain things happen in our lives and we don't even know that this is actually the problem. We are suffering from this, etc. For example, you could be going through stress and then you don't even realize that you could be having a mental breakdown. And imposter syndrome was one of the things I realized, hey, this is actually something that is a reality, right? So as usual, I just wanted to be that extra person to create awareness, just to take this topic as well that Nissy Tee did, and just, in fact, I actually realized on YouTube that there's so many of these topics. So many people who have spoken about imposter syndrome, and I thought, let me just share it with you guys on Divulge Talk Show, because these are some of the topics that people don't even share. People don't even talk about imposter syndrome and what it's all about. I had to find out through Nissy Tee that, hey, there's actually this thing called imposter syndrome, right? So as usual, I love to define my topics in case it is your first time hearing about what imposter syndrome is about, or you just want to know more about what imposter syndrome is all about. I love to define my topics. So imposter syndrome refers to the persistent inability to believe that one's success is deserved or has been legitimately achieved as a result of one's own efforts or skills. people suffering from imposter syndrome may be at increased risk of anxiety, right? So there's so many factors that can make us feel inadequate as human beings. Like from the definition, you feel as if you don't deserve. You don't feel like you deserve your success. You don't feel like you deserve the good things that are in your life. That's imposter syndrome, right? And there's so many factors, so many things that can make us as human beings feel so inadequate, right? For example, let's say you start in college or university and suddenly you feel you don't deserve to be in college or university, or you feel as if you are not going to do well. That's imposter syndrome. I mean, getting into college is a big deal. You are actually tapping into a new world whereby you develop skills, you're learning new things so that you go out there into the world and just make a positive impact. Now suddenly you feel like you don't deserve this qualification because tomorrow it will help you to become a better person. You could use it to start a business, you could use it to climb up the corporate ladder or to expand your career. And then if suddenly you feel as if you don't deserve to be in university or in college, then that's a problem. Or if you feel as if you're not going to do well. I mean, let's say for instance, you haven't even started university as an example, probably you just applied, you just enrolled, and then now you feel like, I'm probably going to fail. What? You deserve this good thing. You deserve to be in college. You deserve to work hard and to acquire or obtain this qualification and be the best version of yourself. Another example is comparing yourself. Comparison. Now this is something that I'm pretty sure you and I have gone through or are going through. Constantly comparing. I remember, especially in primary, I used to compare myself with my other peers when it comes to academics or their looks, because I grew up a chubby baby and I always felt fat, and there was a time in high school where I used to be teased. So I used to compare myself like, oh, I wish I was like this. I don't deserve to be like this. That's imposter syndrome. So that's why earlier I said it's something that we grow up with, and sometimes we don't even realize, or sometimes we don't have anyone to talk about concerning this syndrome or this problem that we as young people develop, and then it can also develop as you grow older as an adult. So when you're comparing yourself with other people, be it your peers, friends, whatever, you are doubting your abilities to actually succeed or obtain, for example, the qualification, or just to be better in life. You feel like, I'm not good enough, man. I mean, look at Zoe. She's nailing it. Who am I? Such things. Those are some of the symptoms or signs of imposter syndrome that we go through, and you are just self-doubting yourself. And really, guys, at the end of the day, you actually do deserve the good things that are coming for you, or that you have acquired throughout your hard work and everything, right? Now, I want us to look at socialization, right? One might have amazing friends, a beautiful family, a healthy relationship, a good job, or a successful business, and you still feel as if you don't deserve the good things. Wait, let's take a moment. So you've got a good, healthy family that's like united. You've got good friends that are just like awesome. You've got a successful career, a successful business, probably a good relationship you're in one. And still you feel as if, I don't deserve it. I feel as if that is definitely insane. That's just something that you cannot settle. You cannot settle for less. You need to appreciate, and you need to stop self-doubting yourself when you have all these good things. So these are signs of imposter syndrome, whereby you've got everything lined up. I mean, nothing is perfect in life, but I mean, there are certain things whereby you can pinpoint and be like, hey, this is actually really good. I'm actually happy. I'm actually content. But then at the end of the day, like, nah, I don't deserve this. That's not good. As human beings, as people, we need to start appreciating the blessings that come to us. Okay, right, so I'm just going to read here from my research when I was doing a whole research about what imposter syndrome is about. Another explanation of imposter syndrome is the experience of feeling like a phony. You feel as though at any moment you're going to be found as a fraud, like you don't belong where you are and you only got there through dumb luck. That's another example, right? Whereby you have succeedingly gotten to the top ladder of whatever that you were doing, but now you suddenly feel like, do I deserve this? And then you feel as if you got there because of dumb luck or because of fraud, and yet you didn't even commit fraud, but then you just feel as if I don't deserve this. That's imposter syndrome, and that is pathetic. I feel like you just need to appreciate yourself, pat yourself on the back, and know that you're the best, you're the bomb, and you deserve all these good things that are coming to you. Okay, so imposter syndrome, guys, can affect anyone. This is not about, it doesn't matter your social status, it doesn't matter where you are in your career, but each and every one of us suffer from imposter syndrome. Personally, I've gone through it and I'm recovering. Like I said earlier, it's not something that you end overnight, because we are a work in progress as human beings, right? So sometimes when we go through things, it's just a matter of trying to appreciate and trying to become the best version of ourselves. Now, knowing the Faculty of Psychology UGM lecturer said that someone who has imposter syndrome never stops doubting whether their achievements reflect his or her abilities. That person worries if his condition is known by others and is considered as a fraud. Like I said earlier, you just feel as if you're a fraud. You thought. That's how you feel. And that's not good, because I feel like it starts weighing you down, and then you start self-doubting yourself, and then that's when depression kicks in, mental health issues. Like earlier when we were reading the definition, it spoke about you're always anxious, you've got anxiety, you're just like, oh my goodness, do I deserve this? What are people going to say? Comparing, look at John, all those kind of crazy things, right? Okay, so we've all gone through a lot of self-doubt as human beings, especially when certain things in our lives are going well, and we love to term these good things as too good to be true. I want to give a realistic example, right? When one is in a romantic relationship, when his or her partner is attributing the so-called green flags, I'm pretty sure you all have heard about the red flags. Oh, if she can't cook, red flags. Oh, if he can't communicate, red flags, right? Now, let's say you're in a romantic relationship and this partner of yours is actually attributing the green flags. That's the good stuff, right? That's the healthy relationship that are expected in a relationship. For example, good communication, loyalty, true love, and so forth. As people, we tend to push away certain things because now you'll be like, oh, she's too good to be true. I mean, she communicates so well, she's loyal, she's kind, she's the good stuff. The good stuff that you expect. You don't see any signs of toxicity, and you're just like, hold on. We tend to push it away because now suddenly imposter syndrome kicks in, and then we feel as if we don't deserve it. Now, take note, it's very normal for human beings to feel insecure, especially if you're coming out of a traumatic relationship, if you've been abused and all those kind of things. But then at times we tend to push away the good stuff because we feel as if we don't deserve them. And it's all because imposter syndrome has taken over our minds, our feelings, our guts, and all those kind of things, and then we just lose the good stuff. So it's very important to discern. It's very important to take your time to analyze instead of quickly dismissing stuff, and yet you actually deserve this green flagged person who has walked into your life, right? In a particular video, Michelle Obama also speaks about imposter syndrome. I will put the link in the description if you want to check it out. She really, she actually opened my mind of how sometimes we really beat ourselves for nothing, and mainly because of sometimes how we grew up as people, our backgrounds, our environments, etc. So she says that growing up, you might have been told or affirmed that you're not good enough, And once you are in a certain place or environment, you wonder how do you fit in there, right? So we grow up in so many environments whereby maybe growing up you're always told, oh, you're so stupid, or you're so dumb, or you will never make it in life, right? Especially abusive families and etc. And what happens when you actually accelerate in college, accelerate in your career, and now you are sitting next to a panel of ministers, and now you start questioning yourself, how do I fit in? Imposter syndrome. You're self-doubting yourself now, which is normal. I don't want to say we have to be perfect. It's very normal. However, I think it takes a certain type of what? I don't know. We just have to work on it, you know. And I'm going to talk about some of the ways that we can work on these things just to get rid of imposter syndrome, right? She also emphasized more especially women, because we've been told not to do certain things by society, therefore you become imposter to yourself, you know, growing, you know, whereby in the olden days whereby women are not allowed to go to school, and then when they got the opportunity, probably you start thinking, do I deserve this degree? Because you grew up being told as a woman you're not supposed to go to school, you're just supposed to grow up, give birth to kids, be a housewife, and not even achieve your dreams. It's an example. Some of the things that we as women are told, we can't do this, we can't do that. And then once we get to that stage in life whereby we're accelerating, we start questioning our abilities, we start questioning our capabilities, and it's imposter. Okay. Affirmations also play a role in forming internal beliefs in one's mind. If you constantly tell yourself that you do not belong or you do not deserve the good things, you develop imposter syndrome, and the opposite is true. If you guys haven't watched my the last video that I did about affirmations and the power of manifestation, I think you should. I explained what affirmations are. I gave certain examples of certain things that we as human beings do and say. I even gave an example in relation to my mother tongue of the certain things that the Zimbabweans say. And at times we feel as if the context is different, but the truth is, affirmations are very powerful, because if you keep on telling yourself that you don't deserve to be in this environment, then you're gonna self-doubt yourself all the time. Yeah. So I'm gonna just name 8 characteristics or signs that one is suffering from imposter syndrome. So if any of these apply to you, then chances are you could have imposter syndrome. You might not have the full blast. You might have a little bit of it, or you might have the full blast of imposter syndrome. And hey, it's not a problem. You can still work towards being better. That's the good part of the talk show. We don't just tell you you've got imposter syndrome, but hey, even if you have it, this is how you can fix it. Because remember, these conversations are meant to help us. These conversations are meant to build us and to equip and elevate us, and to give us an insight on how to work towards certain things in our lives. Because hey, no one ever told us about imposter syndrome growing up, eh? Does your parents ever? No. So let's get to it. So the first is you are incredibly self-critical. You criticize everything about yourself. Your work, your achievements, your goals, your visions, the good things in your life. You feel as if, it's not enough. So you constantly focus on what you have not done or didn't, or the things that didn't work out. It's like putting unnecessary pressure on yourself, trying to be a perfectionist. Honestly, that doesn't work. We are not perfect. God did not create us to be perfect. I mean, how many times or how many mistakes do we do in an hour? Let's not even talk about 24 hours. 1 hour. That shows that we are not perfect. And that because we're not perfect, we need to constantly work on ourselves every single day to become better. And I don't even think we'll ever be perfect, but I think we can reach a level whereby the red flags are lesser and the green flags are more, if that makes sense, right? Number 2, you feel like you've never done enough. You are not content with the things you've done, even if you are the richest person in Africa, you still feel that you've never done enough. Come on, boy, come on, girl. Pat yourself on the back and tell yourself that you're the bomb. Don't let imposter syndrome bring you down, because it can take you back to where you were and yet you are just up there. The third sign that you have imposter syndrome is you overwork. And this is actually like another topic I want to talk about, the notion of working hard as society, but you overwork. You just overwork. You don't give yourself time to reflect, time to rest, time to have self-care. You don't. Because you constantly feel like you haven't done enough. You self-doubting yourself. You know, your capabilities are just whack. And no, you overwork. And that's something that you just need to cut down, because sometimes you realize that you're going to overwork and you don't become productive. Because those are because at times you feel like, yeah, I'm working. You have a daily to-do list of like 100 things, and then by the end of the day you realize you only achieved 2 things. And then if you have a to-do list of only 4 or 5 items, you realize that you've completed all tasks. And there are 2 different things. Overworking and being productive, those things are definitely 2 different things. So when you're suffering from imposter syndrome, or when it's kicking in, you tend to overwork because you don't feel like you're good enough. Yeah. Number 4, you minimize your abilities and your values. We spoke about this. You just feel like your ability and your value is on 0 degrees. You don't feel like you are good enough. Number 5, you feel anxious about being successful. I don't understand. Let me know. Are you scared of being successful? No, comment in this comment section. Let me know, are you scared of being successful? Because if you're anxious of being successful, then that's a problem on its own, because no one wants to be unsuccessful. I mean, I'm out here working hard to be successful, honey. We all want to be successful. So it looks like when you have imposter syndrome, you are anxious about being successful for some reason. I don't know. If you feel like you are anxious about being successful, please share your story and let us know here at Divulge Talk Show why, and perhaps we can form a conversation about it and how you can overcome the anxiety or being anxious of actually being a billionaire, which, yeah. Number 6, you tend to compare yourself to others. I spoke about this earlier. You compare. You look to the left, you look to the right, you constantly comparing yourself. And now with digitalization and social media, I don't even want to start. It's a whole topic. Number 7, you're often in your head and not present with other people, because you're constantly criticizing yourself in your head. You're constantly thinking, I should have done this, I should have not done that, and you're not present. You're not enjoying the moment. If you're going out with friends to have a good time, you're constantly thinking about your workload, this and that and this, and you're just not present, and you just tend to miss out on a lot, which is bad. And the last one, you tend to go into people-pleasing mode. You just want to please people. Imposter syndrome. Because remember, guys, when you compare yourself to other people, somehow you're gonna try and become like them, or you want people to perceive you in a certain way. Allow people to perceive you in whichever way they want. Even if you are the most kind-hearted person on earth, there will be people who are gonna discriminate your personality. So trying to please people, that's just setting yourself for disaster. Okay, so these are some of the ways. Okay, before I get into the 5 ways in which you can get rid of imposter syndrome, I like to put a disclaimer that, guys, I'm not a psychologist. In case you thought these are just part of research, and I just want to help you guys out there in case you feel as if imposter syndrome seems to be kicking in, or you are drowning in imposter syndrome waters, right? Number 1, give yourself credit to get rid of imposter syndrome. One thing I've learned when you want to get rid of a problem, let's give an example. If someone has got a drug addiction, you need to acknowledge the problem, because so many people, we cannot help them, or rather society or psychologists or the rehabilitation cannot help them because they are failing to acknowledge that they have a problem. So you need to acknowledge that I'm suffering from imposter syndrome. I'm in people pleasing mode. I constantly compare myself to people. Acknowledge, accept. Once you do that, you are able to get rid of this thing, you know. Number 2, avoid comparison at all costs. One thing I've learned, don't be competitive with other people, compete with yourself. When you wake up, who is your competition? You are your own competition. Not the person next to you, not your neighbor, not your best friend. Compete with yourself. And once you start looking at yourself and competing with yourself and trying to just make yourself happy without having to worry about what other people think, you are good to go, honey. Number 3, own your accomplishments. Remember we spoke about how you feel as if you haven't done good enough. You are criticizing your work. You need to own your accomplishments. You need to appreciate, pat yourself at the back and tell yourself that, hey, I did it and I'm happy. I used to constantly imposter myself when I would look at my talk show videos, but there was one day I was like, you know what, I've actually achieved something. I'm happy. I'm constantly happy because sometimes I want it to be so spectacular, so perfect. I am working towards that, but probably at this moment I can't make everything become perfect in a short space of time because we constantly compare ourselves. I would compare myself with other talk shows. Oh my god, they've got such a beautiful studio, or the chairs, and you know, but I need to be who I am. I need to live in the moment and progress, and one day I'll just wake up and I'll have all those things that I need. Okay, positive affirmations during self-doubt situations. Affirm positive, affirm positive, affirm positive, and please continue to affirm positive. The last one, social media detox. If it means that you need to go on a whole 1 month of you not being on social media, let it be so. I actually want to have a topic about social media and how it actually literally ruins our lives. Social media is good, yes, but there's the bad that I feel like we need to talk about. You need to detox from social media because I feel like imposter syndrome has actually risen or has risen even more because of social media. Because remember, now I'm comparing myself to someone I look up to who is in the United States or in Australia, and then I just developed this anxiety within myself. This is everything, guys, in regards to imposter syndrome. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you're going through the same situation. And hey, there's so many ways which you can help yourself. You can even do research, but remember to just take it slow. Don't be hard on yourself. Be kind to yourself. Have a moment of just taking care of your mental health, because this brain is the machine that drives us to be who we are as human beings. So see you guys next time, and thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, to like, to share, to comment, tell a friend to tell a friend, and goodbye.